Hi there, this is Tata with Rangers of Wrestling, bringing the Wrestling Time Post Show. And for tonight, I will be reviewing Impact Wrestling. All right, tonight's show was the fallout from Against All Odds, and it kicked off with the X Division title match. It was Speedball Mike Bailey versus the debuting Allen Angels, formerly 5 of AEW's Dark Order. Okay, as you recall, at Against All Odds, after Mike Bailey defeated Trey Miguel, he said he was going to be a fighting champion and he was going to defend his title against anybody, and he didn't want to wait. So, starting with this episode, he defended his title in an incredible contest against Allen Angels. Now, they were in Allen Angels' hometown, yet the crowd seemed to be split 50-50. They were chanting for Speedball Mike Bailey, and they were also chanting for Allen Angels. Allen Angels is really impressive in his debut match against Speedball Mike Bailey. I'm not sure why AEW chose not to renew his contract, but AEW's loss is Impact's gain. So the match kicked off with a sign of respect between both men, but Allen Angels slapped Mike Bailey, I will say that. And one of the spots I liked in this match was a Speedball. He ended up on the outside of the ring, and he was like laying on his stomach, and Allen Angels did a frog splash, so he hit Speedball's back, which I thought was pretty. Another spot that I really liked was that Spanish fly that Speedball did to Allen Angels in the middle of the ring. Both men had back and forth chest chops going on here, but Allen Angels hit the Halo Breaker to Speedball, but that wasn't over. Speedball kicked out. Afterwards, Angels hit the wing snapper to Mike Bailey, which was followed by with a kick to the face, and then he missed frog splash, and that allowed Speedball to hit Ultimo Weapon to Allen Angels, which allowed Speedball to be victorious in this match. After the match, we got a great sportsmanship. Both men shake hands, but then they were attacked out of nowhere by Violent by Design. Joe, Dorian, and Dina attack them. And then Dina just basically calls out Josh Alexander. It says that it's not over until they say it's over, and tells Josh Alexander to come out. But Josh Alexander doesn't come out. Instead, who comes out is Eric Young. We haven't seen Eric Young since he lost to Josh Alexander at Slammiversary. So he comes out and basically is wondering like what happened to Violent by Design. He said that how did they end up in this position? This was not designed by him. This was not part of his design. He is a designer. Then Dina basically tries to argue he thought that this is what Eric Young wanted, to try to bring the Impact title home. So if Eric Young couldn't do it, he thought maybe Joe Dorian can do it. And Eric Young basically says that under his watch and care, Joe Dorian was undefeated, one of the most feared men in pro wrestling. And it became clear to him that sickness has taken a hold of both Dorian and Dina. That he thought and he prayed that they were different, better than the audience, or as he calls them, these individuals, and are worthless. He says that the audience, meaning, can't see the truth and can't see it, and that they were just as worthless as the locker room. So he's basically saying that he's going to have to purge Dina and Joe Dorian. But then Dina says that Eric Young is 100% right, and that Eric Young is a designer, and that he wants to be given a chance to show that they can make it right. And Eric Young basically says that they need to be clear and have no doubt to move forward, and forever the world belongs to him. So I wonder if this is going to be like a post-breakup to Violent by Design. It seems like there's kind of throwing hints out there, especially with this, but who knows? I mean, they might pull it together and might stay together. I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, I think Joe Dorian and Dina will make it up to Eric Young, though. I do. So then we get an Honor No More segment. Mike Bennett basically saying that Impact keeps screwing them time and time again, despite no matter how hard they work. Like Eddie Edwards says, they're bound by circumstance. Now, Kenny King basically starts talking about how the truth hurts and that sometimes it's uncomfortable. And he says the Impact doesn't deserve any of them. Maria goes on to say they suffered a setback at Against the Odds. That if you look closely, she gives like a look to PCO. Like if she says that they won't tolerate failure, she looks at PCO. And then Eddie Edwards begins to question how much this message means to PCO. And he's got a match scheduled against Black Taurus. And he's basically telling PCO he better win or he's out. So the cracks are starting to form on Honor No More. Then we get a quick Deonna Purrazzo segment saying that Basically the gist of this segment is that Gail Kim says that Chelsea Green has a match against Mickie James in the Deonna's match against Mia Yim. Everyone's banned from ringside, just like how everyone's banned from ringside from Chelsea's match. Then we get Laredo Kid versus Trey Miguel. And wow, what Trey Miguel was able to do in this match, despite having a messed up leg, like he messed up his left leg in his match against Speedball Mike Bailey. So, like, one of the spots I like was that one-legged moonsault from the ring apron that Trey Miguel did to Laredo Kid. And Laredo Kid focused on Trey Miguel's leg during this match. He did a single leg Boston Crab, but it still wasn't enough. He also did the figure 4 leg lock. That still wasn't enough. How Trey Miguel managed to do a missile dropkick to Laredo Kid is impressive. But in the end, Trey Miguel, like you guys know, Trey Miguel likes to hit the Meteora as a finisher to end the match. So unfortunately, he couldn't hit the Meteora because of his leg. And he instead hit the spinning neck breaker to Laredo Kid and ended up winning the match. How impressive is that? Like, I was impressed by Trey Miguel. I'm always impressed by Trey Miguel. So then Joe Dorian and Deonna go backstage looking for Josh Alexander, and they run into Motor City Machine Guns. Deonna slaps Chris Sabin, and security tries to pull him apart. And that's when Josh Alexander shows up and basically says that he's still here, and so all hell breaks loose. And then we find out next week it's going to be a 6-man tag match. It's going to be Eric Young, Joe Dorian, and Deonna versus Josh Alexander and the Motor City Machine Guns. We get a Killer Kelly vignette play. So I'm assuming she's going to make her debut soon on Impact. When, I don't know. It didn't say. It just said coming soon. So then we get America's Most Wanted segment. And Storm says that they basically didn't know that they were going to reunite against all odds. And Chris Harris says that if Against All Odds was America's Most Wanted's final run, it will forever hold a special place in his heart because he got to stand alongside James Storms one more time in an Impact Wrestling ring. And James Storms does go on to say he has unfinished business and he goes looking for Moose. But instead of finding Moose, he instead runs into Steve Maclin, who I'm assuming was in Moose's locker room. And Maclin basically says that he thought Against All Odds was his retirement match. And I don't know, I just got a different vibe from Steve Maclin. I felt like he wasn't his usual self in this segment. You know, and it's odd because like Steve Maclin isn't the type of guy to work with anybody. So I'm very now intrigued as to what this alliance between Moose and Steve Maclin is for. But anywho, James Storm challenges Steve Maclin next week to a match. And then after that was PCO versus Black Taurus. It is basically do or die for PCO. He had to win. So this was a good, decent match. Decent match, I'd say. PCO needed to prove himself to Honor No More. So basically, PCO does win this. He wins with the PCO's all to Black Taurus. And Vincent raises PCO's hand in victory. Then Honor No More come out and they clap for PCO. I don't know about you guys, but I personally thought that Honor No More was still going to betray PCO. I got that vibe. I really did. And they didn't. Instead, Heath comes out and attacks Kenny King. And so, like, I honestly think Honor No More is going to turn on PCO at some point or another. They're going to turn on him. I don't think he's going to turn on them, but they're going to turn on him. And another thing, too, that I noticed, PCO has his own theme song now. He used to come out to the Honor No More theme song, but now he comes out to his own. I think that's a bigger hint as to PCO is going to eventually separate from Honor No More. And PCO is so over. The crowd was chanting for him. I mean, how can he not be? He is an incredible performer, and he is definitely not human. Okay. Then we get a Bullet Club segment. The Good Brothers, Ace Austin, and Chris Bay. And they're basically talking about Honor No More, who they say that has a lot of issues. They start fires but don't finish them. And Chris Bay says that they eat Honor No More's lunch and he's currently feeling hungry. Ace Austin says that he is hungry and starving. And Dog Gallows calls him a purple-headed grasshopper, which I thought was like so hilarious. So next week, you're going to have a match, Bullet Club versus Honor No More. Then we get a Brian Myers segment. Hilarious segment, if you ask me, because it features the swingman, Johnny Swinger. So, like, he signs his random guy's photo, charges him $30. So it wasn't even a photo of himself. It was a photo of Johnny Swinger. And Johnny Swinger basically says that Brian Myers is offering him a shot. And so you guys know Ziggy Dice used to be a part of Brian Myers' learning tree. Ziggy Dice brings up that he has learned more from Johnny Swinger than from Brian Myers. And he basically tries to say Johnny Swinger's school isn't a real school. Then he runs into Bhupinder Gunhar, who is undefeated, and he tells Ziggy Dice to bring Johnny Swinger over, and he introduces them to each other and says, so why not they have a match next week, and then they can figure out from there. Because Bhupinder Gunhar did want a chance at the Digital Media Championship. And so Brian Myers tried to dodge him by offering a match with Swinger. Then we get Shera versus Rich Swann, which was okay. It was a decent match. But Rich Swann wins after he hits a 450 splash to Shera. Then we get two quick backstage segments. Once with the influence, Tennille Dashwood freaking out that Masha Slamovich is after her. Giselle says it might be her fault for ducking Masha Slamovich. Influence blames her for not winning back the tag titles. Then the second one is Team Ragnarok basically saying Rosemary is upset because they haven't found Havoc. She just got tired of relying on messengers from Father James Mitchell. And so they have to travel to the Undead Realm next week. Taya wants to go with Rosemary, but Rosemary doesn't want her to. And so they agree to, in the end, they agree to go together. So next we have Deonna Purrazzo versus Mia Yim. Winner will face Jordyn Grace at Emergence. This was an incredible match. The ladies absolutely killed it. I will say that. I mean, both Mia Yim and Deonna Purrazzo kicked out of each other's finishers. The first incident was, okay, Deonna Purrazzo hit Mia Yim with the side rush and leg sweep, and then the Fujiwara armbar. That didn't work. Then she hit the Queen's Gambit to Mia Yim, and she still kicked out. I was so shocked by that. Then Mia Yim did her classic power bomb with the package pile driver, and Deonna still kicked out. Okay, but what ultimately does it was the fact that Mia Yim hits Deonna with close range kicks, then hits her with another package pile driver, and then they eat the feet. And Mia Yim is victorious. Now, the first time Mia Yim tried to hit Deonna with the eat the feet, Deonna rolled out of the ring, so it wasn't effective. But at the end, Jordyn Grace comes out. She claps for Mia Yim and then shakes Mia's hand. So, incredible main event. Overall, decent episode of Impact Wrestling. Alan Angels impressed me in his debut. I really wasn't feeling the Shera Rich Swann match. It was okay. But aside from that, I'm going to give this, it was a decent episode. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. I really do. I think a lot of people are still sleeping on Impact Wrestling. I don't know what more else to say or to do to get people to watch Impact Wrestling. But with that being said, thank you guys all so much for watching and for your continued support. And please don't forget to like and subscribe and make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or release a new video. And I'll see you guys tomorrow after Rampage. Bye.